In 1733, Richard Wright and Alice Riley traveled to America from Ireland for a better quality of life. They came over by ship to escape poor conditions, disease, and famine. Although their hopes and dreams were bright, their life in Georgia would soon turn tragic. Their story would plague the town of Savannah for years to come, casting a dark history. This dark history would provide future tales of falsehoods and murder. The couple, who were deeply in love, would get a job as servants working for a man named William Wise. Mr. Wise was from England and settled in Georgia 2 months before the couple arrived. He had a horrible reputation of lying and bedding prostitutes. Unbeknownst to Richard and Alice, he would prove to be unbearable to work for with his tyrannical ways. He would also end up sexually abusing Alice on a daily basis. With nowhere to go, they would stay with this man until that fateful day when their lives would change. In 1734, William would become gravely ill. Because of this, he would require more personal care from the couple. They were each tasked with a specific job. Richard was to brush his hair, and Alice was to bathe him. This was a daily routine they could not avoid. At some point, Richard devised a plan to murder William so that him and Alice could live out their freedom and the rest of their lives in Charleston, South Carolina. One morning, while Alice was bathing her master, Richard came in to help with his hair like he always did. But on this day, March 16, 1734, Richard used his personal neckerchief to squeeze William's neck while directing Alice to submerge his head in a bucket of water. After he died, the couple disappeared and headed off to South Carolina, where they were immediately caught. Upon arriving at the jail, both of them said they were innocent, knowing full well they would be hanged for their crime of murder. Alice speaks up and states she's pregnant. Doctors confirm her pregnancy, and the acting magistrate, Thomas Colston, decides to hang her after the delivery of her baby. Richard would later escape jail and run for his life. In a letter dated January 20, 1735, a colonist named Edward Jenkins details the events surrounding Richard and Alice's story and how it ends. He writes that he and 2 other men came upon Richard in the woods after he escaped. When they approached him, he said he was just looking for a woman and housing. But these men knew who he was due to the story of murder and his wanted capture. They apprehended him and hauled his ass back to Savannah. He begged for his life. He asked repeatedly if he could be left in the woods to die rather than hang. He would declare his innocence to the very end. Meanwhile, the letter also tells of Alice having her baby and naming him James, who was rumored to be William's baby. Her trial was set for May 11, 1734, just 6 weeks after giving birth. In her trial, she confessed that the murder happened, but that she herself was innocent. Is it possible that Richard forced her to be an accomplice, especially after what William did to her? On January 19, 1735, Alice was the first person and woman to be hanged in Wright Square in Savannah, Georgia. In a sad turn of events, her baby James died 2 weeks later. They were both buried just off Wright Square, near 9 West York Street. Alice received a lot of sympathy because of what she endured in the hands of Wise. The turmoil she must have felt handing her baby over to strangers, knowing her life would end. A sad story to a once hopeful life in America, changed in one instance by a wrong decision and ultimate crime of murder. They say her ghost wanders around Wright Square searching for her baby. Her spirit cries out in anguish, and those that see her try to help her. But be careful, because if she sees anyone holding a baby, rumor is she will snatch that baby out of their arms thinking it's hers. She never got to hold her baby, and in death, she yearns for that chance.